take another cigarette, bro, and a drink for me to go fucking, and that's what's happened. I quit for years.
We're on. Nobody needs to know. I got you. Talking about anybody. All right, today we did not have G's over there in the corner. I had no idea he was coming. He's fluffy. You know what I mean when you see him? This is the man with the plan, Tony. His real name is something like, I know you look at him, you're like, his name's got to be Ahmed. And I'm like, it's something similar, but we'll go with Tony.
The J is pronounced Amjad.
Okay, but you have a J. Like my buddy, his name is A-H-M-E-D. Ahmed. And yours is A?
M-J-E-D.
So that's not the same as Ahmed.
Amjad.
Amjad and Ahmed. What does Ahmed mean, or Ahmed?
So, Hamd is giving gratitude. Ahmed is most great.
Okay, and then
Amjad is most magnificent.
Okay, see? Yeah. So there's a difference. So you're most magnificent. My buddy who lives, his father owns like a bunch of hotels. He sends me pictures of these hotels crazy, right? In, where is it that he lives again? Saudi Arabia. And I'm thinking, when I'm thinking hotels, I'm thinking Trump Towers. So he tells me his father has a bunch of hotels in Saudi Arabia, not Dubai. Right. Saudi. I'm thinking the same thing. You remember Ahmed? And he said, oh yeah, you were tiny. So he came out here, and after that, they wouldn't give him another visa. And gotta listen, this is a good story. So he sends me a picture of this hotel, and like, you remember the stockade fencing? That was just two poles, just the poles in the two cylinder poles. And I'm like, you could go through it this way or over. The stupidest fence you've ever seen. That's not a fence. Yeah. So, and I see all these like similar to a motel, but cheesier. And I'm like, and he's got a ton of these. I was like, give them back. Because he was saying it like he was proud. To me, I'm looking at it, I was like, sorry to hear, just give them back. So, yeah. So, all right, today, guys, listen to this. I didn't put it in the description, and it hit me because you guys don't know this, because when I get on camera, it's not about me. It never has been. If I told you guys my personal business, the pain I have inside, the fears that I have inside, the things that I keep inside that you or no one knows, even my closest friends, you guys that are on here that know me 18, 20 years, that are like, Pedro's always chipper, great guy, will always help this, that, and the third. I've never seen him in a shitty place on a Tuesday, Thursday, or now on a Monday, Thursday. Most of those nights, just like when you see the different foot attire, most of those nights, I am in slides with no socks. Most of those nights. But I get in front of you and I bring it all down. And why? Because you don't deserve anything less than my best. You deserve nothing less than my best. He doesn't, my son doesn't, my wife, you guys, you deserve my best. But most nights inside, the turmoil is insane, okay? We were talking about today, he says, and I was saying it, I know people that have been going to, what do they call it when people go to AA? They don't call it AA, they have a word for it. Yeah, NA, but they call it, they don't call it therapy. I'm going to group or session, or there's a word they say. I'm going to meetings. Yeah, they're going to a meeting. And I know they're never wearing a tie, so I'm like, what kind of meeting are you going to? But it's NA or AA, Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. So, you're a drug addict all through the 70s. Everybody was. If you went to Studio 54, you were probably a drug addict, including the DJs, the bouncers, the waitresses, and every patron. If the 80s came along and you stopped that, everybody I know says you're still an addict. You go to NA for the rest of your life and go to meetings. You go to AA for the rest of your life. That would be the same thing as you've done Taekwondo. Nothing against Taekwondo, but if you want to learn how to fight, to me, Taekwondo is not an art to learn how to fight. It helps you fight, but if you want to learn how to fight, you got to do the dirty, nasty stuff, practice those drills. So if you did Taekwondo for 10 years, stop doing Taekwondo. You're a third-degree black belt at that point. So you've done some Taekwondo, 8, 10 hours a week sometimes. And people come out and say, oh, you're still a Taekwondo guy because you did it 10 years ago. So you're not a BJJ guy. You're just a Taekwondo guy, but you haven't done Taekwondo for a while. You're still there. And I understand people can have whatever feeling they want, but speaking with universal concepts. If you're a boxer and then become a plumber, oh, no, well, you're still a boxer in remission. You're a remission boxer, now an architect or now a plumber. I don't believe it. I don't buy it, because for me, if you're an addict, okay, to me, being addicted to something, how they say psychological, I don't think it's psychological. It's not your psyche, it's your neuro, okay? There's a difference, and some of psychology has to do with your spirituality. So if you're in the 70s, let's say, let's bring you back to the 70s, bring me back to the 70s. I was a different person than I am today as far as if you told me something, what I would tell you back, right? Whether it was good or bad. There'd be way more thought now. There'd be way more emotion now. There'd be way more knowledge, more wisdom because I am wiser. So as a weak, not knowing, I was always an alpha, but I didn't know it. In school, check this out, I failed conversational Italian. So I didn't have to write, I didn't have to do anything. There was no spelling or vocabulary. It was go up there, just learn how to speak. And you'd get up there, and every week you have to take your, instead of a spelling test or a vocab, your conversation test. I was deathly afraid to get up. I wouldn't do it. This is 10th and 11th grade. Failed it in 10th, did it again in 11th, did the same thing. I was deathly afraid of going in front of people. Okay, deathly. Never touched that situation again. Left school, got regular jobs, dated, got married, had kids. This was in 90, I was already married, right? So 1996 rolls around. I've been doing martial arts at that point for 20 years. The guy I'm training with says, hey, I want you to do a seminar, which means I got to get in front of people, most of which I didn't know. These weren't classmates. 80 out of the 100 people there I didn't know. From Adam, this is the first time I see him. I had graduated 10 years earlier because I graduated in 86. So here it is 10 years later. I've never been put in a situation of speaking in front of people, which I was deathly afraid of. 2 years in a row, failed conversational Italian. I got on that floor, rock and rolled, didn't get the butterflies that everybody says they get that first time. Even now, after 10 years, I get in the ring, I get butterflies.
And you knocked it in the ballpark.
I knocked it out of the ballpark. And I heard people in the bathroom, because I don't know where I was. I must have been in a stall or something because they didn't see me, otherwise they wouldn't have been talking about me. Or I must have been walking in while they were talking. What I remember is they didn't see me, so I was able to overhear them say, you know what, the best part of this seminar is Pedro stuff. So here's my debut. The guy I'm doing this with, it had to have been his 100th. Had to have been his 100th seminar. But I showed no signs of anything but absolute. And you know why? Because at that point in my life, I felt way more confident about my martial arts than I did my first or second year of Italian. So as a different, let me finish. As a person who was weaker minded and weaker in every way, I was able to be taken over by that fear, and I sat in my chair and failed the class. And then, I'm strong, I'm gonna do this again. I gotta get up there, I'm gonna do it. And I trembled and I sat in my ass again and I failed 2 years in a row. So to me, if you change wherever you were at that point, I guarantee you, I could go and speak once a week, twice a week, or every day, and it wouldn't be a problem. I would never go back to being afraid. I have friends who I've spoken to and changed their life because they stopped drinking because they were alcoholics and would not know I can't because, and they use the word, I'm an addict, or they put themselves, like I said, they keep putting themselves in the past. Huh?
Would they take another drink?
I started them back drinking, and then not alcoholics again. I took someone, I know it's wrong, but I took someone who was going to AA, excuse my French, called him an asshole, called him weak, called him guidable, called him a fucking sheep, called him all kinds of things that he was letting the world do to him. You let yourself have 10 drinks a day. Now make yourself take one.
When's the last time you spoke with him?
A week? 2 weeks?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Am I messing up? Is that you? Am I on, guys? Nikki, good to see you. That's you, right, brother? Okay, good. That means I'm still on. Okay, guys, so what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying everybody's the same, but I guarantee you the majority of people, okay, the reason we say this is because it's been said to us so long. Remember, we've talked about this before. Wes and I have had a lot of conversations. Sherry and I have had a lot of conversations. My wife and I have had. Robert, Urena. We sat in our boxers grappling till 1 in the morning instead of going to clubs. And yeah, this gentleman stopped drinking and never went back to drinking.
Most people, okay, so there's an exception to every rule, but we don't live within that exception.
But my question is this. You honestly feel if, I don't know if you had a drinking problem. I'm not going to put anybody's, but so we'll say you are. We're going to put you, this is your part. This is a movie. And the part you're playing is, do you know why Mark Anthony played Hector Lavoe so well? Hector Lavoe was a well-known salsero. They say one of the best that ever lived. Was a drug addict from hell. His family was pissed off, said Mark Anthony portrayed him as a drug addict. And to be honest with you, Mark Anthony portrayed him to a T. to a T, and his family was pissed off because the truth hurts. But do you know why he portrayed him to a T? Because he himself, Mark Anthony weighs 90 pounds since he was 17 years old. He ain't gained an ounce. That's impossible. Nobody weighs the same they weighed in high school. Nobody. He's a drug addict. What do you want me to tell you, right? But I know people, and again, by my hand, who used to drink like a fish, considered themselves alcoholics. Not kept going to AA and played it off, but I don't think it's the exception. I think it's the rule. I think the exception is the people that think that way, because I think I know you for a long time, that if you were an alcoholic, you could have a beer a day and not go back to drinking 12. I honestly feel that. I've sat and listened. This is not because you're here.
I've quit smoking for 3 years. Convinced myself one day while my father-in-law quit smoking like 10 years ago. I've been married 35. And within this time, I quit for 3 years. Convinced myself I can have a cup of coffee and a cigarette with him. It's been 3 years.
Uh-huh. No, it's not gonna.
I went back. I
Yeah.
went back to smoking.
But smoking, they say, is one of the hardest. They say harder than heroin. But here's what I'm saying.
And then, okay, so I had...
I'm not saying it's impossible. What I'm saying is that the book is written that, let's not say 100, but they want to say 90 some odd % has to do it that way. I honestly believe that well over half have the oomph. With me, it's the same way, right? I know people that the cigarette, right? And it's the this thing and that. And I know a ton of people who have tried the patch and tried everything. All I had to do was switch to vaping. That's the same thing. Bullshit, because I know people who have tried going to vape, couldn't. They got to go back to the cigarette. My son went, my brother, remember Robert? Robert had the patch, the vapor, and a pack of cigarettes, because he always wears a t-shirt. I'm looking at it, and I'm going, what are you doing? He's got the Nicorette thing here. No, and to boot, no bullshit. I think he was chewing the gum too. So he's got a patch, a piece of gum, a vapor, and a freaking pack. And throughout the day, he's hitting everything. I'm like, bro, you're going to OD. You got a steady stream here. You're chewing the gum because you're working and stuff, and it's like bubble yum. You're smoking a cigarette, then hit the vape. So I don't think, because even though I still vape, people are like, oh, well, you didn't quit smoking, now you vape. I said, okay, look how many people can't even do that. So it's not that you can't quit smoking, because to me, and I know people can say anything and say, well, that's different. It's not any different. You can't say it's like identifying as. That's literally what you're doing. You're identifying as a male or a female or a they or a thee. You are not an alcoholic in remission. That's like saying I'm a girl in remission. I'm just waiting to turn to a girl. So the day I have a thought, so once you go to being a girl, let's say it was a quick operation. So Bruce in 2 months says, shit, yeah, that was a wrong idea, and goes back to being a man. So now is he a tranny in regression? Because at any moment he could want a vagina again? See? I don't think so. I don't think we're infants in regression. I don't think we're toddlers in regression. Not regression. What do they call it? When you stop doing it? Is it regression? When you're off the wagon, what do they call that? Not a recession. Remission. We're not infants in remission. We're not high schoolers in remission. I'd like to think so. So, and like I said,
I think it's about awareness.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a cigarette smoker, you know you were addicted to it. If you're a pill popper, you know you were addicted to it. If you're an alcoholic and knew it, just stay the fuck away from it. Just stay away from it, bro.
I got you.
That's not
the
fight anymore.
I got you. But if I'm in pain, I'm going to take a pain pill. When I had my Perks, they gave me Percocet and Darvocet when I hurt my hip. And I took that pill. Guys, this is important. It may not think like it's martial arts, but we're hooked on a lot of shit that we've been hooked on. And again, and this is a healthy conversation. To me, I will never be addicted to anything I don't want to be addicted to. I know.
I've suffered with back problem my entire adult life until I had my lumbar surgery. I had my fusion. They went in through the
So you had your C-section?
No, they went in through the front. They put a spacer.
Oh, I know.
Pain went away.
Yeah.
The best part about it was getting off the meds, dude. I was getting up at 3 o'clock, 4 in the morning, bro, screaming from the pain, having to reach, and then that just became a part of the lifestyle. So Monday, they cracked my wisdom tooth, spent an hour, probably was an hour and a half, felt like, I don't know, like all day, but they had to put in do the bone grafting.
Yeah. They didn't do any of that with me. They just pulled it out, and it took them an hour and 20. An hour and 20.
Hot compressions, but you know what? My thing is, I did not. They offered me the painkillers, and that's just not my fight anymore.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Or need some kind of major surgery. That's the only time I will do it, bro. But for a toothache to get back into that fight.
I really.
it was hard getting off. And every day off, man, every day away from it, I just kept reminding myself, I will never go through this again.
But here's my question to you.
And getting that much pain and not taking, you know what? I would have rather all day long, bro.
So this is a good movie. See, it's good putting you in this role and play the role.
Yeah,
but here's my question, though. So we play this movie, right? And everybody's here watching and listening.
I don't know that I could have taken as prescribed.
But they're going to ask you.
I wouldn't have made that phone call.
I got you. I understand that.
Or told them, hey, I need more. I don't know what.
I know from what I've gotten from you, because again, like I was trying to say, not because you're here, but I've had several people I told you that you can call and be like, yeah, bro, he said that. When you've spoken to me about the Quran, you've spoken to me about Islam, that I had no idea when people say, oh, Muslimism, and I'm like, what is that? It's like when people say famous sausage, like myself. It's like, well, you know, the Muslims that do the Muslim thing. I was like, the religion is Islam. Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, says you don't even understand, right? Do you understand Abraham and the whole line? Muhammad, Jesus, you know, all these other people, Sarah, Susan, okay. This man has taught me things that really opened my mind, right? I see how much you know. You can't learn as much as you know if you're zonked every freaking day, right? So let's say you had a problem from 81 to 87. What happened to 80, right? Back to 62. So this section made you an alcoholic. Now you're an alcoholic in remission. Why aren't you a not drug addict in remission? Because you're as a drug addict, as an alcoholic, as a sex addict, which people say they have. So now because you did this for the rest of your life, you're this in remission. Well, that was in the beginning of your life. Why aren't you this in remission?
Let me ask you a question.
You could be in remission from this.
Can a girl be just a little pregnant?
No.
See, for me, that's it. Either you're sober or you're not.
But that's a process that
the whole way.
can't be.
I don't want to drink. I don't want any painkillers. I don't want.
But that's not a process that can be stopped by choice, right?
That's absolutely.
You can't. No. You can get. No, I'm saying you can get pregnant. Once you got pregnant, once you pop that pill, tomorrow you could say no, and I will let you say no. Once you're pregnant, you either get an abortion, so you're no longer pregnant, but you can't not be pregnant for 3 days and then go back and stay and keep it and make the 9 months to 18.
Have you ever struggled with addiction?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie.
How bad was it?
I was real young, so I think I was real stupid, but to the point where I woke up in places and had no idea. I had no idea how I got there.
Whatever that drug of choice was, have you done it since then?
Yeah.
You have done it, but you're able to do it moderately.
It was drink. I've never had any drug problem. It was alcohol. I would get so, I didn't know how, okay? But here's the thing, even with that problem, I was told I was addicted, but I was addicted on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I didn't touch the stuff Monday through Friday, but I didn't know. I had no idea what it was like not to finish the bottle.
Because a lot of people
really
don't have that mindset that you have.
I couldn't finish.
That can't not do what you do. And for most people, what happens, no, they can't. Most people, what happens, they get back to their whatever, you know, could be the Percocet, leads back to the shooting, and whatever it is, the crack, whatever your vice is, but it starts someplace.
Yeah.
And then you start convincing yourself until ultimately you get that taste for what it was that you used to like.
They claim that sex addiction is just as bad as not worse. I have a friend, right? Like I'm asking for a friend who would literally Monday through Friday, okay? This same friend had a drinking problem just on weekends. So Monday through Friday, not night.
Because he could stay sober and then just the weekend.
But Monday through Friday, right after work, he would go and be with one chick. 4 hours later, go be with another chick and get what they call the midnight booty call. So it was like at 4, 9, and 12. It was like a work shift. So it'd be with one at 4, one at 9, one at 12. Tuesday, the same thing. Wednesday, the same thing. Thursday, the same thing. Friday was different because Friday is now club night. So now he's out looking for new ones. Not all 3, but to replace maybe 1. Or give these 3 a break for 2 weeks, be with a different 3. Because it had to be. It was that bad. Monday, this is no bullshit, Monday through Friday. That stopped, cold turkey, overnight. Never went back to that. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday of drinking till you were blitzed, I was on a floor. My cousin could attest to this. I was young. I'm telling you, this happened when I was young. and I'm on the floor with this beautiful girl. I can't figure out how to get anything going, right? And we're not saying anything out of line here. I can't. So you could ask me, have a baby with this woman, just rub her, kiss her, caress her, say, blitzed out of my mind, on the ground like this, so damn drunk. So he's telling me, my cousin, go in the other room, go in the other room. And I'm like, no, man, just move the TV. You remember the TVs back in the day, the big console? You lifted it up like this, and it had the record player. You open this part, and it was a bar, and then the middle was the TV. This thing weighed about 7,000 pounds. So I'm rolling on the ground with some chick instead of going to another room. Why? Because I couldn't get up. That's how drunk I was. I would drink by railroad tracks and play chicken with the train. We got to a point where we couldn't get drunk, so we would sit and slam a drink and get up just so we would feel that. You know how they say if you sit and drink and then you get up and you get that woo? We'd do it on purpose. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, blitzed, out of our minds, left my house and moved in with my cousins so that I can be closer to this situation, because I didn't want to drive there anymore and do this.
Look at the risk that was involved. You could
That's
have lost
insane.
your life. You
Yeah.
could have got ran over.
It was bad, bro.
You know
It
how
was
many people
bad.
OD a day?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if that's not...
It's not, and listen, I'm not saying, and this is what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. I would say the same thing. I'm not saying try a little bit, you should. What I'm saying is that the possibility, it's there for you to be able to do. Now, if you have what they call an addictive personality, yeah, you're going to have a problem with it. Or maybe you can train yourself out of it. I don't know. But I'm able to say, because I've watched it, that you can. When they say you're an addict for life, I don't believe that. You were an addict here, now you're not. And then you can go back to being one, and then not, and then be. It's not, yep, you're an addict. You're just in remission for the rest of your life, and then you die 90 years not drinking because you drank for 3 years every single day and drank the whole bottle. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If your father dies...
Have you ever been to any programs?
No.
NA, AA, or anything like that?
For that same reason.
They just have a different
I think they're full of shit.
perspective
I think
on
it's full of
it.
shit.
I think they are too.
And I have friends, like I said, that went from drinking a bottle to drinking a drink.
Their formula that
From doing, I'm talking about pills upon pills. But they never did it. Here's the thing. They did the drug again, just not recreationally. They did it for what they needed. They could be in pain from me smacking the shit out of them for 6-7 hours, doing a long weekend, and tell me that story, and this is how this happened. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Well, I had a problem. I said, yeah, you have a problem now too. You're going to deal with the pain because you decide you're going to do it, because you cannot get hooked on a Friday, on a Sunday, by having taken one perk, one Friday, one Saturday, one Sunday, just to take the damn edge off. Because you got to get through this seminar. I can't concentrate when I have a headache. I can't. When I'm in pain, I got to take whatever it is to get rid of that pain. I'm useless. Ask my wife. She's on here. Ask my wife if I'm not the worst sick person in the world. Here's how bad I am. I'm addicted to everything. If I can't breathe through my nose, let's say my nose is stuffy and I got to breathe through my mouth, bro, I'm pissed. It's like you said something about my mother. It's done. Don't talk to me. Because the nose is meant to breathe, not the mouth. So even I got a little bit, because one nostril is stuffed or my mouth opens and I freak out. Ask my wife, I'm the worst sick person in the world. If I have a cough, I'm pissed off. When I have allergies, I'm pissed off. Pissed, because things aren't the way they're supposed to.
See, my wife is like you.
I get so irritated. I've got to be like this.
Whatever, and then as soon as she takes us prescribed.
Yeah. But it depends. It's not as prescribed, because I can prescribe them to myself. You mean take as directed.
As directed.
The bottle says, that's the prescription say whatever, it's like 800.
One every 8 hours, and you're popping 8 every 1 hour.
They gave me 800 milligram ibuprofen and told me go and get the prescription. I was like, no, I'm not going to go get it. I have these stupid things at home. They're 500s. If I take 2 500s, that's 1,000. I mean, like I said, it's just like martial arts. It's science. Doesn't matter who sells it. 500 milligrams, it's not like cocaine. It's not pure. It's not Peruvian ibuprofen. You know what I mean? Ibuprofen 800 and 2 500s, I'm still better off here. And I can get a bottle this big for the $18 you want to charge me for 10. And I take an 800, 1500. They're like, oh, take as directed. My sister used to go nuts because I got to take the edge off. Never do it again after that Saturday. Never again. Take 3 when it says take 1. Drink it with a shot and then just guzzle a beer. Not guzzle, like in 3 swoops, take the whole beer. My dog, you're going to die. You can't do, pain pills with drink. And then once the edge is off, done. and then I can enjoy the rest of my night and not do it again.
I know somebody who OD'd.
Yeah, me too.
And the way he got back on it was by
thinking he could gradually.
By just something happening, a little small procedure where they wrote him for like 8, and then he took all 8 for supposed to be over 3 days, and then on the 4th day he's calling buddy up, hey man, meet me down the street or meet me wherever.
Yeah,
and then he's
it
back
happens.
on, and then he OD'd,
it happens. So listen, so I'm not saying.
The pain,
yeah, true.
The hot
True.
On, and still be with us.
I just don't want to think.
And we call, and call him.
Because
I had to call him.
to me, and with some people, and knowing that person, now that I know more about each person in my life, as a year becomes 10 and 10 becomes 3 decades that I know people, I would know which advice to give them. But like these 3 that I'm talking about, they can recreationally, literally, and some of them, it was the powder was of choice. Some of them was the pills. Some of them was the booze, right? But I stay on their ass, and I can whip them to. Now, my fear is, yeah, maybe I stopped talking for a month, and then I finally talked to him, and he's like, dude, I'm off the wagon, fuck. I'm like, shit, I got your back on this, but.
Or you call them and they're dead.
Yeah, then that really sucks. But what I'm saying is, most of them have been smart enough to use it as a project, because I use everything as an experiment. That's how I got where I got in the martial arts, experiment with everything. That lock, this doesn't work. And I say, see what I told you? Cut the shit out. We got work to do. If I hang out with you for a week, because some of these people, it's out of the country. If I'm going to be there 7 days, and you're going to be with me 7 days, I can guarantee you're going to do what the hell I say. If I say we're having avocado puree, that's what we're going to have. So if for 7 days you're good, you don't go back to it, but you got to show and prove to yourself, okay? Because here's how I'm saying it, and it's scary, because you're right. If you call your friend and he OD'd because something you told him, but I tell people about universal concepts. I can't tell you in the martial arts where you've got to put yourself, remember I talked about it probably 6 months ago, put yourself in an uncomfortable position. Nothing harder than a Republican and a Democrat in the same room, and the Democrat is way left, not just moderate or even closer to the middle. I'm talking about as far left as you can go.
Just give away the whole farm.
And as far right as you can go. Conservative as shit. Everybody should have 3 guns. You take those 2 guys, and they're both hard-headed alpha males. Put them in a room and make them not fight, be able to eloquently give each other's point of view and talk, not get physical. You know how hard that is? If you can do that, you can do anything. So it's the same thing. Put yourself in that position. Sit there in front of that line, in front of those 6 pills, in front of that bottle, in front of that 6-pack, in front of that brothel, and do what you're supposed to. Don't go in. Don't pop it. Don't snort it. Don't drink it. Don't knock it back. It's hard, bro, but I've done all of that. And because I knew I had that problem, and I was a kid. And since then, Vu was running around telling people I had a drinking problem. And like the day he said it, I hadn't had a drink in like 3 weeks. The day after he said it, I didn't have another drink for like 10 days. I'm like, that's hardly a drinking problem if 21 days prior, 1 day, maybe 2, 10 more, that's not a drinking problem, no matter how much you drink for those 2 days. But I had a problem because I was drinking a shit ton Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But again, you're right. I'm not saying everyone can do it. What I'm saying is, if you put your mind to it, yeah, you don't want to.
Why do it?
But here's the other thing. Let's play devil's advocate. Okay. I know I can whoop a lot of ass, right? Why would I go and just start picking fights just to see how good I am? End up in jail or could end up dead. You never know. A buddy, I just didn't see him.
Or end up killing someone.
Yeah, right? Okay. So, and so you're right. So that's why I got to give you the props. That's why it's a back and forth that I tell other people. The same thing. I could do that, but I don't for the same reason. Why tempt death?
How many times, honestly, somebody's talking shit to you, big guy, just be, steroids bound, big meathead, you can do, you've already put together your plan of action, how you're going to, how you're going to leave him in fetal position. Mm-hmm. You know that. What would it take for you to do it? It would take literally for the guy to put his hands on you, right?
And I would still figure out a way to do it without hurting him. Literally without hurt, and not without injuring. There's a difference.
But you would rather avoid that situation altogether?
Oh yeah.
That's my point.
But here's the difference too. Yeah, I definitely do it.
That's my point.
But it's almost unfair because I've gotten so good. Like you said, I'm not going to tempt myself. I don't go to places where there may be a lot of beautiful women. I don't go to places where there may be a lot. And again, I said, I can go anywhere, the mall. What I'm saying is, if I go on, anybody invites me on a boat, I don't know what it is with boat and hot women, right? They just find themselves there. If you said, hey, it's a boat party, come along, and they don't invite, doesn't have to be my wife, invite a chaperone, like my son who's gonna keep me in check, or if I tell you, Tone, you gotta go with me and keep me the hell in check. And that might not even work. It might not, but I'm gonna need that, because if I get on that boat, I'm telling you, 1983 is coming back. Absolutely, you're 100% correct. 83 is coming back. I'm going to go home with an STD or 3 baby mama knocking on the door at 9 o'clock. I mean, 9 months later, 9 o'clock, 9 months later.
You lose your marriage and your
self-respect. Right? So I don't put myself in those situations. I see, like, I don't count everything that happened in the club. I don't count those fights. Those aren't fights, because I was just doing my job. Getting a person, putting my hands on somebody to get him out of the club. That's not a fight. Even though they swung on me and I came through, boom, 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 did what I did, got him through. Then his buddies coming and just all the things that I tell you how it has to go. The playbook, I've played it. I don't tell you guys things that are theory or thoughts or stuff on the mat. Some of it started here, was refined, and then even brought to the street and further refined and beyond mastered. But everything that I tell you, I've done it in these bars. The joint locks, I've done them in bars. The straight blasting people in the face, the elbowing people, the grabbing somebody and shifting them through their belt loop and they're walking, all of it.
But those were all the people who knew they had a drinking problem.
They shouldn't have been there.
Fucking grabbed the bottle, and because Pete told them they could fucking overcome this shit, and now they're swimming in this shit, drowning, bro. That's literally who those people are.
But again, to play the devil's advocate even deeper, if that was the case, and people just used to drive like shit, now they've gotten better because whatever, if you have a problem and it's just because you get something and you can't stop getting it, but if you got in that situation right after your wife passed and now you can't kick the habit, so at least you understand that if you start again, you're not starting in a mourning, grieving, wanting to kill yourself position. You're like, okay, I'm gonna have a beer because I'm gonna barbecue. Drugs is different, and the guys that I talked to about was because of pain, because I'm like, and here's the crazy shit. It started because of pain and then they overdid it. So now it's like, okay, you gotta remember that.
Well, your tolerance builds up.
Yeah.
So
and then with the booze.
Once did it for you, then it's 10.
I did things.
And they call it a monkey on your back for a reason. And then eventually grows into McGill the gorilla.
Yeah, but if I had a monkey on my back, I'd just beat it off.
But then once you get him off your back, why fucking say, hey, climb back on here, let me...
See, no matter what you do, if you got a monkey in your back, and if you beat him off or get him off, you're in bad shape. Either way, they're looking at you like, oh. But here's what I'm saying, though. If I have a problem and the trigger to that problem was something dramatic, something like death, divorce, right? So I had that beer, but instantly I knew, well, I'm sitting there, I know I'm going to be in this for at minimum that day. So I go bang, 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 and then the next day, and now I became an addict. So now I unbecame an addict, or I'm in remission. And then 5 years later, I decided to go to Margaritas and have a margarita. To me, because it's happened to me the way things were, right? If you have a situation, then you're just going to blast. Now remember, at that young age, I just had nothing better to do. I didn't have anyone to go home to. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have kids. So I was just drinking because it felt good. But when my dad passed, I had all kinds of things going on in my head. So I tell my wife, I said, that year after my dad passed, if I was an asshole, that doesn't mean I'm always an asshole. I'll probably, and I am, so I was probably here because my dad died. Then I toned it down, right? And then I lose my job, and then I tone it down. And then I lose my business, and then I tone it down, right? So there's ebb and flow. So there's ways to control that. And I said, like with booze, it's easier. With pills, it's hard.
With chemicals, man.
Chemicals is
bullshit, man.
All right, so let's work. And guys, listen. You guys know, and you already know too, I'm as transparent as can be. And it gets me in trouble a lot. I put my worst foot forward. Everybody I've ever met can tell you that I've never had a filter. No one can say to you, wow, this sucks, man. The first couple of times I saw or met Pedro, I love when people say, oh, I only met him a couple of times. You can't meet somebody a couple times. You already know them. You don't know them like everything about them, but I can't meet you. It's like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. If the next day I say nice to meet you, then I got Alzheimer's. So you can't, anyway, meet people. But they'll always say, oh, I only met him a few times. So if you meet me and I'm not joking, I'm not cursing, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, somewhere in the middle, but you're getting me, and you're going to get me each and every day. So when you see this is me because this is what you deserve. This is what you deserve. When I go home, if there was a camera, if you ever saw the Truman Show with Jim Carrey, how a camera, and he was like literally like this, and he thought that was the world, but he was being filmed. You'd be like, oh, right? And it's nothing horrific as far as like, I'm home, I don't know, like Dahmer, that kind of surprise. But you would notice some strength is gone. It's like, wow, there's kryptonite involved in Superman. There's that alpha, right? I'm not taking a back seat to anybody, but there's nothing wrong with being a beta to remain an alpha. People don't understand that. They think if you're not an alpha at all times, because sometimes even as a boss, if you got to take someone's advice because it's the right thing, who's less than you basically became a beta to stay an alpha. To stay an alpha, right? Some people don't get that, right? So,
a lot of people want yes sir, man.
Yeah. So you're going to get that. So if you don't like what I'm saying, if I took too long in saying what I'm trying to say, don't tune in. And again, I'm not saying it to be an asshole, but just don't tune in. If you don't like what I have to say, don't tune in. But I can guarantee you there's nobody who will tune in or not tune in or semi-tune in who could ever do what I've done. There's not a single one of them. I don't care if they've been doing Jubenji Ryu for 20 years, who's going to be on the cover of a magazine, or 6 or 7 or 8, in my case 5, right? Or get the respect I get. And the reason is because of what I do. It's not hi-ya, because that's how you end up a robot and not on the cover of magazines. You end up getting things that most people don't get. The reason I got in so much trouble and I was able to be able to do 3 of this and 2 of that and too many of this is because anywhere I went, everybody always gave me whatever I asked for. I said, listen, I need a job, bro. Things are going, well, I don't really have it. Listen, bro, says, okay, we'll work it out. And I could get jobs at places that weren't hiring. I can get promotions.
You're basically not asking people. You're telling them.
But, and no, and not because I wasn't, like I said, always the alpha, and I wasn't always 200 pounds. But people can see in the way you tell them something that I'm serious about what I'm telling you about. Hey, it's going to be in your best interest. Hey, it's going to work out. And people still want, oh, Pedro didn't do 7 techniques, so class today sucked. I said, well, if you listen to what I'm saying, you could be sitting at home going, you know what? I'm not going to try it. I'm going to listen to Tony. I'm not going to tempt fate. But shit, that was some good information. Because wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, can't be shortcut. You can shortcut anything you want. You can go get a bachelor's degree in less than 4. Most people will tell you 2 years to associate, 4 years to bachelor's, 6 years to master's. There's people that have done all and any of them in less time. All. You can get a master's in 4.5 years. There's people who get out of high school who already have an associate's that amassed enough credits. Because it's just a matter of amassing the knowledge. Okay? You can't amass more knowledge than what you get in 24 hours. Can't do it. Because there's only 24 hours in a day. Because there's no set amount to be a wise. Like people say, he's wiser than his years. You can't be 19 and wise. Doesn't exist. I don't give a shit. If you're 30 years old, oh, he's a wise 30-year-old. That's like saying he's an old 20-year-old. There's no such thing. Or he's a fat 100-pounder. Unless he's 4 years old, right? So, if you're in high school and 100 pounds, I don't see how you can be fat, even if you were 4 foot tall.
There's being wise and then there's being educated.
Yeah, but wisdom when you talk about...
Wisdom is experience.
There you go.
If the guy's been from one corner of the world to the other by the time he's 21, met all different races, cultures, people.
21, I don't know. You got to do a lot of traveling, man. That's a lot of hours just on a plane. You don't want to sit on a plane.
But put him next to a kid in Nebraska that's been farming.
So he's wiser than his years, but is he a wise man or a wise man? But digressing.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you're not taking all this stuff and letting it sink in, you know how many times I've been told something? And you know, and again, it pisses me off because I'm saying to myself, my dad, a year and a half, whenever he passed, man, I don't even want to think about the date, but I used to think about things that he told me, when I was 30, and I would say then, man, I'm 30 years old, whatever. And then hit 40, and be like, gee, shit, I'm doing the same damn shit. He was right, And not in a bad way, but it makes you say, dumbass. How many times he said something that I didn't listen to, and then I got to say, he was right? Nobody likes to hear I told you so. People are like, I don't like to hear.
But that's how we grow. It's through those mistakes.
Yeah, but some people hate to hear I thought you so. But to me, if someone says I told you so, told you not to do that, yeah, it pisses me off. But to me, when I have to sit somewhere, and hear myself say, they were right, he was right, it's just like when my nose is stuffy. Look, I got goosebumps, bro. No, it pisses me off to no end not having taken good advice. It burns me not to have done the right thing, not to have done right by something that, why would he say something to hurt me? Dahmer, as a father would, but a man who raised his kids, paid for everything the way he was supposed to, my mom may not like some of his choices, but I was never hungry, I was never cold, always a roof over my head, I had clothes to go to school. He did what he was supposed to do. Hey, I got you pregnant, I'm going to stick around till this kid is old enough to be a man and do his own thing. That's all I can ask for, man, because there's not a book. Yeah, there's a ton of people say, oh, yeah, there's books on how to raise children. Oh, yeah, there's books on parenthood. Yeah, and you read half these books, and I'm like, well, that is a real generalization, because in Ethiopia, you can't do that. Or you read the next book, and you're like, Bosnians wouldn't think that's cool. You see what I'm saying? So most of those books are generalizations. It's like the horoscope, right? It's just a bunch of crap. But this wisdom of what I say, that it's all connected, you will be able to take what I say about anything and fill it into martial arts, into addiction, into life, into whatever, whether it's your studious life or your home life, whether it's love. It's like, here's another one, I have to talk about it. I'm sorry, guys, this is just what it is. Because thousands of people go through this. You wouldn't have X if you loved me. You wouldn't have done that. X is for it. You wouldn't have done this, that, her, it. No, love had nothing to do with it. I was drunk, which is a big problem. She's hot. Doesn't mean I love you any less. And if you can love more than one kid, and people say, oh, but that's different. Oh, yeah, well, just like that bag is different from that bag, but it serves a certain purpose, and it is the same in texture, product, use. It's the same in everything. Oh, but it's different. Yeah, the only thing is that that's individual to it hanging there and that hangs there, but it's the same shit. So if you can love 3 kids and 7 nephews and 4 grandkids and 15 uncles and 15 aunts, you can't be in love with more than one woman? I'm a believer, a lot of people say I'm wrong, that in everything else you can except that. I think it's bullshit. I think you could, that's why there's these guys that marry 3 women, or guys that have, these guys that get looked at and it's like, oh, he was leading a double life. I knew a guy who was running a triple life, bro. Triple life. He had 3. I'm like, I can barely juggle 1. And it was literally in the tri-state. He had a family in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York. Family, full on. Chick, 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 baby mama, baby mama, baby mama. How do you, 3, 2, I'm like, wow. But 3, how are you juggling this? How are you agendizing? How do you not sleep at home for more than a week? So you'd have to be like, well, I work out of town or whatever. And it's like Monday, Tuesday, you definitely sleep here. Wednesday, Thursday, you here. And you got to get at least a couple of nights at each place. You work out of town. Too much for me, bro. This guy had 3 families. 3 families running at the same time, right? And he loved all 3 of them. I had a buddy. I'm not going to mention his name. I don't want to throw him out there. Bram, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He fell in love with every woman he ever met. It was a buddy of ours. Huh? I'm not going to tell you who. Huh? Rest his soul. We both know who we're talking about. Bram, my brother, you know who we're talking about. Right? He fell in love with every woman he ever met. He had such a high regard for women. And people would be like, oh, he's a dog. He wants to sleep around. No, everything about them he loved. The way they smelled, the way they walked, their hair, their eyes, their face. And this kid was on another level. He'd have one here and the one here in his apartment complex.
Yeah, the same apartment, same building.
And he would go and walk his dog to the gym area and work out too, and the dog was tied outside or whatever. So he'd disappear for an hour and meet up with this one anywhere in the gym or whatever. We went to a place, I can't mention again what function it was because then more people would know, and we're sitting there. And I'm sitting there with my wife, and he's there. Number 1 is here, number 2 is here. And I'm telling you, they didn't have an inkling. He took them both to this function, and I'm like, this guy is God. See,
Get into matter of substance.
and he loved them, bro. He loved them. He loved them.
Substance was in that relationship.
I don't know.
Does your wife deserve all of you, or does she deserve, or do you deserve all of her? I mean, shoot, goes on.
Hey, listen,
Beat, brother.
listen.
I'm
A
just saying.
third of me is better than 3 full-grown, full blast. A third of me is better than 2 rocks. I can tell you right now. Mr. Johnson, or whatever his name is, that empty, shallow, multi-quadrillionaire, whatever he is now, bitch ass. Anyway, all right. So this is what we're gonna do now.
I gotta see that too.
Who? He's a bitch. I don't like him at all. He's a liberal little twatski, like they would say. I love that they use the C word and the T word in Europe.
Man, maybe you'll come in here and
Hey, Rock, Dwayne, 3100 South Congress, Suite 4. If this thing goes viral, it'll be great. I don't want to hear about your WWE. I don't want to hear about any of that. And how big and how great. It's the street. I don't want to hear about how hard it is, how you grew up, Samoa, whatever. Yeah, I respect everything about you, but I'll take you. Easy. So bring it. You know that. You want the phone number too? 561-654-0503. You're gonna say, I'm not gonna make him famous, so I'm not gonna go there. No, you're not gonna make me famous, because I'll make sure we'll do it in the back alley. Nobody will ever know. It'll be between me and you. And you can cry every night when you're with your woman saying, Petey could do it better. But God bless you in all your movies, and thanks for selling out on America. But anyway, moving. Here, grab. You grab here. And the great thing is, it's not even a twingle, a fear. It was like, hey, I heard Beyonce. If you heard what you should have done, because you'll be like, I heard, bop. And before you know it, and I said, you should have, I mean, because you're pretty intelligent, pretty rich, you should have gone online and watched some of the YouTube and called some people, and then you would have known better to come here. But it was ever to show up. I mean, the first thing in my head would be, God, this guy does not use the internet the way it should be. He's probably doing stupid TikToks. That's why he's as famous as it is. And this would be milliseconds while I'm going, and just go on, boom, 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 boom. Grab, try to take to the ground. I mean, just the beating.
like The Rock, man.
Huh?
I love The Rock, bro.
I think he's such. I used to like him.
What do you do?
I just don't like his standing on just to make money, knowing, because I know his heart and where it is, and because Hollywood is the way it is, you know, and he's got to say the things he says, and to me that's weak. That's why I like Chappelle, who will never make a ton of money, because he got cut off from everywhere because he spoke the truth, you know, and he fell like many. And, you know, Hollywood, you know, you can't, and hey, there's nothing wrong. I didn't say there's anything wrong with being a Democrat. The problem is they're not Democrats. They're leftists. There's no such thing as free, guys. None. Zero. Free does not exist. Somebody's got to pay for it. If you stop, and the problem is they've gone there. And I understand if you're a Seahawks fan, a Dolphins fan, a Dallas fan, right? You don't want to leave that. But if Dallas starts hiring, you know, tranny cheerleaders, I'm going to start watching. It's just not me. I think cheerleaders should be a certain thing. Nothing personal, like Chappelle, if it gets out there, people be hating on me too about that. Oh, well, I've always been this person trapped inside. Well, okay, well, I mean, can you just do what you're going to do and then go hide somewhere? Why do you got to be on TV? Why do you got to be famous over doing something? Keep it personal. No, but you want the world and everybody to know. We don't need that. We don't need our kids seeing that. Just end the story. So that's what bothers me, that to make those millions when he can say, that was a point where I had $7 in my pocket. So were you truly emotionally, spiritually, he's a very spiritual man, your spiritual connection with your karma and all that shit that he does, and that $7 now to have 400 million, you got to sell out? I mean, shit, if that's how you feel, just to make money. But, or maybe you did switch, and if you did, then it's even worse. You know, I don't like the crap he does. You know, that's it. And his movies are good. I'm not saying they're not, but bro, that would be such a notch on my belt. That's like people getting virgins. That would be so good. You know what Pedro did this weekend? What? He whooped the Rock's ass. And everybody was like, Pedro's crazy. See, even my own son is like, oh, he's delusional. Don't let that size fool you. Don't let, you know, if you think somebody's going to go like this and pick me up and slam me to the ground without me bouncing off that springboard they bounce off, I said, bro, if you put your hand anywhere near my neck, I'm reaching around, that eye's coming out. So you're around me this way, I'm not over there. Over. The second you go here, I'm going. Well, I could do the same thing. Okay, then why are you wrapped around my neck, missing an eye, right? Because that's what they always say. Oh, anybody could do that. So then why are you here, right, hugging me, and I'm here, thump, and your eyeball is right here now. Now your next movie's got to be they got to fire Johnny Depp and hire you to be the pirate because you're missing an eye and you're going to have to wear a patch. So now it's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean with The Rock, you know, and then everybody's going to say, well, why is he doing that movie? And he's going to, well, unknown because he doesn't want to make him famous, gentleman whooped his ass. And The Rock has moved because unknown gentleman knows his address. And so is everybody in his family because he's showing up there too. Everybody in his family.
Do we have to leave the house tomorrow?
5 a.m. or so. I want to go here with someone, right? To turn this into a slam into a wall. It's not a come along. This is a slam into a wall. So just like I do with Kimura or a reverse Udigarami, guys, get it right. And this is not political banter. This is just beautifulness. I love that life is so weird that people think everything's just one way. You got choices, guys. That's all I'm saying. You got choices. See? Now, if I want to walk him, see what he's doing? A ton of people tell you this could happen, that could happen, X could happen. You're right. If I don't do it absolutely right, a bunch of bad stuff will happen. Right? If I'm driving down the road, didn't notice there's ice, and all of a sudden I start sliding, a bunch of bad stuff could happen. If you got great spiritual connection with your maker, you know, he's cool, and he literally touch that car and straighten it back out, and you're just like, right? That's a lot of people can believe in that, and I'm one of them. So all I have to do is make this happen. Okay? I don't have to grab. I don't have to hook. Right? All I have to do is get this. And it's got to be at the same time. I got to stop that, push forward. Got to stop that from happening. Push that back. No, this, back. In other words, do this. There you go. Do it again. Boom. Okay, do it again. That's all I got to stop. This from doing that, and this, bring it forward, from doing that. That's all I got to do. The second I get this, right, and doing that is you're going to twinge him here. We're going to do it lightly because I know that's your bad shoulder. So we're going to go bop. But just like you just saw, it's going to be, okay? As soon as this stops, I got to give a bounce back. Bounce back. Watch how important this is because people don't teach you the details, and that's why people say joint locks don't work. And it's not that joint locks work. There's a bunch of a-holes have been teaching them for a long time. I got to bounce back off this like it's a springboard. See what I'm doing? See? See how this is spring back? And I'm just going to like this. Right? So once I bounce off here and see where this hand goes, I bounce this off and I shoot this hand right here. So I go bang. Okay? Got it? Bang. So once I pop this, I'm just going to, see, I got to end up here because in reality, his shoulder is going to be here. It's already going to be in pretty bad shape. So slow motion, just come forward, come forward. That's probably as far as he's going to get. By me, is this a bad shoulder too? Mm-hmm. You got both bad shoulders? Yeah. Did you ever see that damn, it's a video. Guy's drunk as hell and he's like this. And the guy's, oh, listen, officer. Yeah, and he's drunk as hell, little black cat. Funny as hell to the way he says it. He tells the cop he's got a glass eye. So then the cop asks him which one. And this motherfucker tells him both. Which one's your glass eye? Both. The cop just laughing, both? Ran his ass in, right? So, both bad shoulders. So we're going to do it in slow motion. Bang, right? So since I'm popping, but remember what I said, I'm popping from him being way back there, I can get my hand in here. But for real, since I'm not going like this, I'm not going to bring this back, 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 back. I don't have all that space. When I pop him for real, when I don't give two damns about him, can you see that? All right? I'm going to pop and go through here. Pop and go through here. So I'm going to pop, boom, and go right to there. See that bounce? I can get through there. So I'm going to hard as shit. But you see where my head is? Bop. As I come through here, I'm going to walk over the walk. Boom. That, you saw? I hit him there. And then I slide. My elbow is on his wrist. And my wrist is on his elbow. Okay? And since he's got a good shoulder, you got to remember, every muscle we have has to hang on something. You go in your closet, everything is hanging on what? A hanger. You could throw the crap on the floor, and how does it look? It doesn't look well structured, right? If you look in a well laid out closet, like all pants, all shirts, all skirts, all dresses. I don't know if you have those in your house, those, what do they call those closets that they make, and they're like, custom closets, but there's a word for them. You got the shelves and the closet rods and the whole thing. They do garages that way, right? And it looks in slats for shoes and drawer. And you go in it looks very what? Uniform, military, boom, nice, clean, crisp. And you see everything, pop, same thing, right? Same exact thing. So everything is going to be crisp. But if I go like this to you, boom, and this breaks, there's no more structure. So you can no longer look like this. You're going to be like this. You ever see someone, he just did it slightly. I have a friend who punched the wall, pissed off at his girl, and hit dead center on a beam. Dead center. Both of these knuckles were pushed so far back that this skin here was just flopping. It just sat there and it looked like it was like there was half a hand because there was nothing to hold all this in place. It was, hell no, his hand was screwed for life. He had screws, he had plates, he had all kinds of stuff. He had stuff running this way to keep this together. It was a mess. And then this finger, and whenever he closed, he had one finger that clicked. He'd get cramps. He'd be giving people the ring finger. You couldn't even do this to people. You know, it's like, what's wrong with you? So, and tell them the story, right? There's no structure. Once I pop this thing as hard as I am, right? If I go like this, go ahead, let it go back, totally relax, right? And I put you in this position, you see, all right, push back a little bit. You feel that right there? That's no longer there. There's no difference. Remember when I said I take this all the way back? Once I pop this, there's no structure. It's like a rubber band, so there's no elasticity and there's no structure.
So how's it done?
So you're gonna go, there you go. So you're gonna pop here, pop a little higher. You're gonna pop right at the elbow. All right, I'm gonna be very loose. Go ahead and just pop it. No, don't put any pressure. Just pop it. Pop. No, see how you're not popping it. Gee, come here. Which shoulder? You have a bad shoulder, don't you?
Your son. I got both bad shoulders, two bad
knees,
two bad ankles, two bad everything.
Slide this way. Totally relaxed, right? Totally relaxed, right? See that? Right? Totally relaxed. That's what you're trying to do. So this one, you're doing that. So he comes totally forward. And then this one, you're doing this. So you're doing them at the same time. You go like this. Right? So as this thing is so far back there, you sneak in here. And make sure this is happening. Then this stays right here. And then this goes right there. So come back up, come back up. You see how I have my wrist here. And I have his wrist. So it's elbow to elbow, elbow to wrist, wrist to elbow.
I see.
Wrist to elbow, elbow to wrist, right? But like I said, once I pop this, then it doesn't matter that he wants to fight back because I took his shoulder out of socket, right? Now, your shoulder cannot, the same thing. What holds your shoulder in the socket? The bone? No. You got a bone, you got a socket. It goes in there, right? What connects bone to muscle? And muscle to bone. Bone to muscle is ligament, and muscle to muscle is tendon. Right? So when you're connected at the bone, I may have that backwards, but yeah, I'm almost positive.
So you got that right.
But there's nothing bone to bone.
Tendon is
the smaller one.
Yeah.
The ligaments are the biggest.
Tendon here.
Yeah. Right? So I think it's bone to muscle and then bone to bone. So ligament is bone to bone, tendon is bone to muscle. Right? So regardless of which one I break, now your muscle is not connected to the other, your bone is not connected to the other bone or in that socket. Otherwise it would fall out. You have to have something to keep it in.
Right.
Right? Otherwise the whole skeleton would fall apart. So once I start messing with that structure, those hangers, the clothes starts falling off and things look messy and sloppy. Very hard for it to come off the hanger and land like that. It's probably going to be wrinkled or crinkled or something. So you pop the other way around. There you go, just like that. All right, go ahead. I'm going to keep it loose. Don't put any force. Watch. Just make sure you're doing that. Because if you go like this, you're going to hurt you're just slapping them. But since you're slapping them at the same time, you'll see me go like that. No harder. Just see how you're staying on it. Slap it. There, you're doing too hard on both. You're doing this. You're trying to hold this and just slap that one. That's not what I want. No. I want you to imagine holding this and slapping this one and holding this and slapping that one. But the hold is invisible. Do not hold. Because you're doing this. See, that's what's hurting me. I want you to go like that. Okay. So think about this. Just do this.
I see. So,
and as that slap happens, you know, like if I slap you like this.
Right.
Right? As opposed to, that's a push, that's a slap. Okay. Right? So, pop. No, but hard. There you go. What I want you is to bounce off. Don't stay on it. There you go. Hard, but don't stay on it.
Is it this arm that comes through?
Yeah, there you go. And that's going to go right to there. And then
And that's,
this one, remember,
it's shoulder to
you're gonna
elbow,
left arm is going through. That's your right arm. See, I'm back. This is your left arm. Left arm goes through. So you're gonna go. You're gonna pop. Watch. Pop this. Look. You're going like this. Right, left. Right. Are you hitting my right arm? This is your right arm. So you're doing it to me here.
So I'm
Good.
going
So you're going
that,
like this.
and then
This. Which one is your left?
That's my left. That's my right.
Okay, this is your right.
That's my right.
My left, my right. This is my, that's your left, you said?
That's my right.
God damn it. So you're,
My right
see how
is
I get the
your
mirror? That's why doing it with him, come here, Papi, so we can see it. I get so screwed up. That's why I hate private lessons. People learn more when it's just two people. Turn this way a little bit, right? So this is what you're doing. So it's your left and right doing this to me, right? So your left is going here. Okay, your left.
That's how I had it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, son.
So let me try.
Good, there you go. Good. But you see how you're on the shoulder? What you want to do with this hand is start the bend. Good. And then this goes here. Go back here. Don't even move your body. Right? This helped with the bend. Now slide, keep this here, slide this, your own over to here. Your elbow over to there, and your hand over to here. Now you see how his hand is this way? You're going to put your hand that way. So his is curved this way now, and now you're going to go down here and up there gently. But you see how you're lifting the whole thing? You got to go like this. There you go. You can't do this. See if you do this. You see how you're up on the shoulder?
Yeah, right here. You want to get. So this is what you want to feel. I could do it with this. I don't even have to get the other hand involved and just bring
Wrist
it
to elbow, elbow to wrist.
Just like a foot. You want to basically foot that.
So it's gonna be.
And see what you did? Do it again. Come this way. Come this way. All right.
And then instead of lifting your arm, it's really just
Slide over here so everybody can make sure they can see. So go ahead and do it again, slow motion. Bop. See what you're doing? You're removing this hand too quick. Be like a snake. So as you pop this thing, right, you're going to pop. Once you pop, right, this is a pop, but this stays here. Because I don't want this to happen. I don't want to pop here and then that happens. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I stay, okay, stand right there so you can see and they can see too. Stay here, see? As you pop, that's your pop. So no matter how he is, you're trying to pop him into up, right? So this has got to start happening already. Once you get to here, right, I stay here, right? As this is going to here, and this is going to here, this is rolling him to there. If you try to do this, right, and see, that's what people do. People try to bend that into position. You don't bend that into position. It's like you don't bend a nail or push it into the wall.
So it's just like,
There you go.
that's it. Okay, now that makes sense when you explain it like that with the.
Get that little, and stay on him in slow motion. Let's not do it with a tap. It would be like this. But you see what I'm doing here? As it's like a dance. I'm going here and I'm feeding this to myself. I walk around. Now this hand comes off. So it's the slappity, and then this is coming towards me. But I don't want to be too low, so this happens. And I don't want to be too high, because then I can't push him. I got to be here at that extremity, pushing him into, turn, pushing him into here. This, if I feel that this is tight, right, I got to try and bend it. If I feel this, and he slams the brakes on, see how I'm already here? You're just going to do the same thing. That roundy stuff I'm talking about, so you're trying to round this out. Let me have it. He doesn't let me have that. I go like this, and I feel, this is just, I'm feeding myself my fingers. I keep this here. I go as high as I can, bring this up and across. So this one now does the work. So when the brakes go on, you know that the other one's doing the work. So I'm going to bring this up as high as I can as I feed this across and go here, and then down he goes. So the intent is, let me have it, to go here, and we go here. I hit him, and I feel, what's DJ's name? big strong man, right? I feel this. Boom! Well, that's actually where I would go, but I'd be nice to him so we could do another shitty movie. Boom! Right? I gotta go there. But you see how I never let go? I've seen people go from here and do this. I'm like, what the because this was the one that was supposed to do the work. So if this fails, then I'm just gonna bring this one up here, and I see him up here, bring it, and I'm like, bring this down. I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. But they make it happen because it's like WWE. You know, it's just longer. Hapkido, Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, standing up, or WWE, same thing. That shit only works if your partner lets you. Or if he's really drunk. But you're not. You are not gonna pop unless I get, boom, you pop this in. And if you feel that he hit the brakes, this keeps moving, right? But as this is moving, I bring this one right over, right? And then that happens, right? So the same thing, if I do this, and I was in the wrong spot, and I try to do this, and he bends his arm, well, then that's when I go to this again, right? So I have to know that I can go, if he bends his arm, go with it. If he locks his arm, go with it. If he bends his arm the other way, go with it. So, again, if I show it to you like this, literally with 2 fingers, some guys call this upward branch, downward branch. So the Kimura or the Udigarami was called downward branch. No matter where you were, how you were doing it. He's on top of me and I can get it. I'm on the side. Doesn't matter, because then people will think of it, oh, from side control, technique 12. From mount, technique 7. From guard, technique. I don't care where you're at. If you can get this position and this to come this way and that to go that way, right here, all I'm doing is I'm getting this to go that way with both of these, right? And I'm getting this to come towards me with this, right? So when I go like this, all I'm doing is there's something behind here doing this. There's something here doing that. It happens to be that I do this entanglement, which is now called Kimura, whatever the fuck you, Udigarami. Kimura is some bullshit somebody made up, right? And en route, regardless, again, if I'm, go on the side, right? He's on the ground on his side.
On my side?
Yeah, on your side, right? He's sleeping and I'm not happy with him. And I'm gonna tell him to wake up, he doesn't wanna wake up, right? So he's here, right? I got this pinned here. I grab this, and I go like this to him. And he's on his side, and I got him in Kimura, right? If I go like this, right? I'm just doing this. Because, sit up. Let's say he's gonna have his legs. He's standing up like we just did. So whether he's sitting or standing up, and I gotta bring, I'll tell you, bring this over to there. No, all you gotta do is this. That's all you gotta do. Once that happens, just let me know if I could keep going on that and this wouldn't break. No. So you can go here, there. Anyway, this is what's happening. So if he's on his side, I make it happen the same way. I just go like this, right? And it's even worse, right? If he's on his back, okay, and I do this. Some people call it a key lock. Whether I'm here, wherever I'm, I pin him down here. Slide back a little bit so everybody can see it. A little more, a little more, a little more. Turn this way, right? So I go here, I pin this down. I brush up like he was brushing the ground, right? I get myself under here, I get to here, and I do the same thing. I'm still doing this, and he's still in bad shape.
So you just want to get...
That's it. It's an entanglement and bring one extremity north and the other one south, or east and west, or northeast, southwest.
Normal bending is...
Yeah. So if he's at northeast, you go southwest. If he's west, you go east. I mean, if you can, I mean, like I said, it's just math and science, man. It's geography, you know. Some social studies, put that in there. Right here, this one's going that way. This one's coming this way. So it's opposite directions, right? This one is going this way. Which is this going? Because I'm doing that, this one I don't have to help it. That one goes down. This one goes up, right? On this one goes down. However you want to do it. But again, from trying to do this, I don't go over there. He grabs me, well, that's a different story. Then I can go here, pop over, then I'll go there. But from trying to do this, and he fights me, I'm just going to go here. It just makes more sense. I can hit him on the way. I can elbow through on the way. I can headbutt him, right, and feed it to here, and then make sure I put pressure on the muscle, bone to muscle, right? Because it doesn't matter, right? This that I just did, the double wrist lock that some people call it, I'm just getting that to happen, is no different if I lift this up, right? I go here, I grab myself, right? You're still in the same boat. You are still got to go that way, which is what I want. If I want to walk you that way, or I want you to be in a bad way, you got to remember, the point is not, these aren't, even in MMA, are they breaking tactics? No, that's what they call them, submissions. I just got to get you to stop, submit, say, okay, I'm done. So if you're trying to whatever, and I don't want you to, boom, I hit you in the face, and I go here, and I have you here, and I go, okay, let's go, stop your bullshit. You're going to stop, right? And then I turn it to here. You're going to stop. I turn it to here as I hit you there. Whatever it is I got to do, right, to get you to stop. It's not about taking your shoulder and ripping it out of the socket, or ripping it out of the socket, or relax, 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 popping your elbow out of socket. You're absolutely right. These techniques would be hard to pull off on a sober, strong, unwilling person. But you're not gonna, they're not like, how do you feel when you're drunk, right? Like this. How do you feel when you get hit in the jaw and you get knocked out? Same way, except worse. You go, and out you go, right? So, if you want someone to be weaker and drunk, you make them drunk. I can make people drunk. There's nobody who can get drunker drinking beer than I can make them hit them in the jaw. I can hit you in the jaw and make you drunk in half a second. Nobody can get drunk in half a second with beer. But you'll have that same feeling if I crack you in the jaw, right? So now, can you hit somebody? That's what people say, oh, it's easy when you pull it off on a drunk guy. But it's the same thing. It's a concept. What is the drunk guy? What nature? Where is he at that makes him easy to beat? Oh, he's drunk. No, he's here. However you got him there, I don't care if you ingest it, or pop him in the jaw, right? Or if he's like, he's down here and this arm is just here, this is which, and all of a sudden, bop, you put him into something. Yeah, but if you're just standing there, right, stand there. I'm going to do that joint lock to you. Don't let me though. It's the first problem, right? Exactly. But if I crack you in the jaw, boom, 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 and go like this, boom, and then crack you here, and then off we go, boom, and hit you again. And if it doesn't work, you go to the headbutt, right? But when is it you want to do it? It's a concept. You can't marry someone before you date them. It's never happened, or before you meet them, right? So you meet them, date them, engage. So there's the process. And if throughout that process you screw things up, you usually don't end up married, right? So what's the difference? It's a place, right? It's not a journey, it's a destination, right? That's easy. You know where you want to be. The journey is that hard part, right? But if you understand it, it's pretty easy. Don't screw it up. So how do I get it to be, well, Pedro runs around beating up drunk guys. Well, he wasn't drunk. A second before I punched him in the face, he wasn't drunk, right? He did this because I punched him in the face, not because he had 7 beers. So, right, that's why it's easy, when it was really easy. But think about it, when you're like that, your whole body, it's not like you stay like this. You're going to be like this, and your whole body is stiff. So anybody I've ever taken out from a bar that was either drunk or I punched them in the face, it literally was no different. It literally was no different. The body was just like this, right? So you got to make them drunk. So it's like, that joint lock and stuff only works if you don't want drunk guys at a bar. I've heard that 100 times, bro.
I hear what you're saying, 100%.
Yeah, it's true. Most of the guys I've ever done it were drunk, but some of them I got them drunk.
I mean, even a slap, man, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, if your head is going,
exactly.
So I know you're busy. We'll see you
Monday.
You'll see Joe. G. Oh, guys, sorry. Sunday we will go live from Puerto Rico on this channel. Okay. So for you guys, that's my gift to you. It's gonna be a lot longer than a regular class. So if you felt I spoke too much today, well, I'm gonna speak a lot then too. There is a way. I had to say this. I can't remember how it is, but there is a way for you to put your closed captions or your subtitles in your own language. And I read it on YouTube, and it's like only 8 of them. Arabic is one, Spanish is one, English is one. So I will be in Puerto Rico speaking in Spanish. So Facebook understands Spanish. There is a way for my Spanish to come out in English letters for you. I know there is because I was on Facebook and it said it. Then it said go to settings, but once it said go to settings, my brain shut down because I don't understand any of that jargon. You guys know this. So if you want to enjoy the seminar, get on there. It'll be on Sunday. We're at the same time, so it's not like we're in Cali or whatever. So it'll be on somewhere around 11 because you know how things go as far as getting on internet and stuff. So once 11 hits, any time between probably 11 and 11:10, 11:15, I'll be on. And like this, you don't have to watch it while I'm doing it. Well, you don't have to watch it at all. But you can get on here Sunday night, Monday morning, next month, like you can do with any of the classes. So if you would like to partake, beautiful. I have people from all over the country doing it. Of course, like always, they will be paying. If you feel like being nice and sending me some cash, it helps everything that we do. You know, instead of everything being free. Hey, you know why I do what I do? If you guys think that I am a conservative or a crazy conservative or a right-winger, you're crazy because I do the stuff that all liberals love. Free shit. You know who you are. If you're not paying me $50 a month to be on this Tuesday, Thursday, which most people are, or a good majority, I don't know if it's most or not, I can't remember how many are on here, you're getting a liberal benefit. Okay? You're getting free health care. This is free health care, guys, because you don't have to go to the hospital because you don't get your ass whooped because you don't know how to defend yourself. So it's like free health care, right? It's a supplement to your health care, and it's free. So if you're thinking anything else, like, you know what, he does make sense. He's not a conservative. He just doesn't believe that anything is free, but here you go. Here's free. So for those of you who are staunch Republicans, pay! You know what it is. I love you. Sunday, 11 o'clock from San Juan. Thank the Puerto Rico crew. Thank all the guys out there. Angel, Ureña, Robert, Rose, Frankie. I never forget about you. Alejandro. All you guys that put this thing together. And I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. Just like when I go to Washington. Thank you always to Wes. Thank you always to Sherry. Thank you always to Taz. They always help. I never forget about you guys. I may not call a lot, but listen to what I said before. What you see here is because this is what you deserve. The turmoil in here and here, you will never know. Ever. Because once the camera comes up, this elephant will get on one leg. Every single time. And you all know it because whether it's the day after Papa passed or it's today, almost a year and a half later, you never know that this guy's like, wow, I had no idea. All the pain, they'll never know. You'll think, oh, he's probably over it. Oh, man, he knows how to mask it. Oh, wow. You're never going to know. But believe me, it's there. It is there. So you got to feel the same way, man. You can do anything you want. You just have to be fair to your moms and your dads, your spouses. You got to be fair to them. They can be buttholes. I can be a butthole, but you got to be fair. I'm not saying you got to be anything else but fair. That's all. Listen to their side. So, Sunday, 11 o'clock, Puerto Rico. You guys are awesome. I love you all. Anybody out there, please, who has a better way to do this, I'm tired of Facebook. You know, their resolution is the main problem, and my technology unknowingness is another. But again, it's not that I forget about you guys, especially you guys that I usually call and I don't, the guys that I should call more and I don't, and it's not because I don't think about you, I think about you guys daily. It's that when I get in my situations, I go into a shell. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to say anything. I don't like pity parties. I don't believe in all that shit. And that's the problem. Sometimes I try to fix things myself, and it's like cars nowadays. They got too many sensors, you know, so sometimes I got to reach out. So if I give you the reach around. I love you guys. I'll do this for you forever. Forever.